Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ink House Radio, the show where we talk about all things creative and all things animation. My name's Jammer. I'm here today with Jonesy and Diego. Gents, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Yeah, doing
How
great.
you doing, Jonesy?
Hanging in there.
I'm good. I'm sleepies. This last week was the worst.
This week was the devil. I know. I could tell my week is awful when my eye starts twitching, and also I've started to experience blurry vision at night, and also cloudy vision. So I think it's a mix of
dry eyes?
exhaustion. I don't know. I probably should get it checked out, and I'll
It's called astigmatism, and you should probably definitely go get it checked out.
I do have I have an aggressive astigmatism. Like, trust me,
okay.
I know.
Well, then, welcome to the club.
Welcome. I've had glasses since I was 5 years old, sir. Thank you
Where are
very
your glasses
much.
Now, where are your glasses now, Jammer?
I'm wearing contacts. I'm
I
wearing
don't believe you.
contacts. What do you don't
2020
believe?
vision
Okay.
has entered the chat.
You know what?
Right.
You serious? Look at that. Hold on. I'll be right
No.
back. Well, no.
I'm
I'm getting my
fucking
fucking
with you.
glasses.
I know you. I've met
like-
you in person. I
It's like
know you
Coke
wear
bottles.
glasses.
It's like Coke bottle size, and I have the stuff that makes it as thin as possible, still thick.
Yeah.
They're so thick that I don't like wearing my glasses because it hurts my ears how heavy it is. That's how
Gotta work
nerdy
out
I
those
am.
ears, bro.
It's amazing that I'm married. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk
What?
all about.
right. Cool. Weird flex, but all right.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm super nerdy, guys, but I'm married. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened either. You know, I always wondered, do they have okay, this is a weird
What'd you
random
wonder?
poll. Do you ever think about in like movies from the 80s and 90s how you'd always have that nerdy kid with thick glasses and would have an inhaler that they would
Right.
just puff randomly? Do those exist where you just puff randomly inhalers? Because usually it's just like 15 to 30 minutes before strenuous activity, but they just do it when they're just scared.
Stressed.
Is
When
that a
you're stressed.
thing?
Yeah, when you're stressed, I think so. Because you're
I-
still
I-
breathing heavy, and like,
But does
you need
that
to have,
does
that's
it work
basically-
quickly?
Well, you got to think about it. What
Okay.
happens when you do strenuous activities? You start breathing a lot, right? You start breathing heavy and like doing that stuff.
But it doesn't
For
act
nerds,
quickly.
that is their equivalent. Nerds don't fucking work out. Nerds don't do sports. Nerds don't fucking do strenuous activities. Their
dare
strenuous
you.
activities is being stressed.
I did all of
24/7.
those things.
Yeah, I did all
I
those
did
things.
all of
365.
those things. I didn't do them well, but I did them. There's the difference.
No, I know. I'm just gonna put a fucking like target on my back when I said that, just because. No, I don't know, man.
When I
think,
say nerds, I mean me.
yeah. Although I don't have asthma, my mom does though, and it is funny watching her having to do that every single time she walks and up and down the stairs. Though that's the
It
thing.
sounds horrific.
Oh,
It's
wow.
real, it's real funny watching my mom struggle to breathe.
I mean,
Hey, Mom, that will up to date? All right, cool.
she started working out. She started going to the gym more often. It's gotten better, but she still has asthma. She still does that little she still has her inhaler.
I've had asthma my entire life, and I didn't realize I had asthma until a few years ago. And I didn't realize that that sort of scratchy feeling that you get, that scrapey feeling that I get when I'm running, is not normal. And I took an inhaler. I'm like, oh, this is how breathing is supposed to happen when you're running. And I didn't realize that. I thought everyone experienced the taste of blood when they run hard.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Well, I thought it was pretty regular. And then I would also, if I did a race, I would be hacking and coughing for, 5 days
Oh, wow.
or so. And I
Damn.
just thought that was normal.
Nope.
Legitimately didn't realize that was not normal. Also, did I tell you this? I found out that I'm probably allergic to raw carrots. Did I mention that?
No.
To raw carrots.
So I was talking with somebody and they were just like, oh yeah, this person didn't realize they were allergic to carrots because they said that, oh, it dries out their mouth. And I'm like, it doesn't dry out your
doesn't dry.
mouth? And she's just like, what? I'm like, well, I don't like, because I always wondered why people like to snack on baby carrots.
Yeah.
But for me, I try to eat it and I'm chewing it for days because it's drying out my mouth. And she was just like, it sounds like you're allergic to carrots too. And I was just like, holy shit. And I tried it.
To be fair,
I'm
that is
allergic
a
to raw
really
carrots.
weird allergic reaction.
Yeah.
That's not
Question.
like, it's not itchy. It's not
No,
Like
it's
hives,
just
it's
it
just
just
like-
dries it out.
I would never think that was an allergic
Yeah, and
reaction.
I always wondered how people snacked on it because for me, I bite into it and it's just like,
because they're fucking delicious.
how do you swallow?
Yeah,
I mean,
baby
yeah, I
carrots are
love the
great,
taste of
but
carrots.
I do gotta ask you something, Jammer, though, because you said raw carrots. You specified raw.
I
In there.
did
Does
because
that mean that if you just cook it, then you're fine?
yes,
What the fuck?
That-
I mean, I guess it changes the properties of it. Like, so, all right.
cooking is chemistry.
I
Walter
understand
White,
that.
2010.
That's why they said let them cook.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we got some stuff to talk about today.
Yeah. Now let us cook about animation today.
Let us cook about animation. And actually, don't let us cook. Let South Korea cook. Am I right, Jonesy? What's happening over there across the pond?
Oh, it's me first. Okay,
It's you
Across the
first.
pond? It's not the pond.
That's the other way.
That's the other way.
I don't care. I don't care. It costs the bigger pond.
Sure. So apparently, the South Korean government is going to dump $1 billion into their animation industry. That translates to 1.5 trillion Korean won. And they're doing this just to boost their animation presence in the world. This is going to be an investment over time. And part of this investment is to bring in folks from around the world. One of the things I learned in watching this, so I did not know that Baby Shark was Korean. So
I didn't either.
I didn't know that. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we're just trying to like recapture some of that. And so their earnings from animation, I think, are 23% over year from the previous year. So they've seen as an area where that they can continue to invest and do well in.
What was something that they did recently? Was that one cat movie part of that? Or no?
Some I don't know, but some of the things that they
think so.
cited as global box office or local box office hits from animation were Heartsping, and that got $7.7 million from $1.24 million of tickets, and so that one apparently did pretty well.
Yeah, I don't. Flow, I think, was an international production, as evidenced by the 2 minutes of screens of.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I don't know. I couldn't remember who each individual was, but I was like, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if
I think
South
it was a
Korea
European.
got a little bit of input on that.
Lost in Starlight was another big one for them, and that one's on Netflix. It will be on Netflix next month.
Heartsping is very weird looking. Well, not weird. It's very colorful. It's pink. It's heavily pink.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, though. I do have to ask, though. Like, you said it's coming straight to Netflix.
Yep.
I do wonder why it wouldn't have a theatrical release.
I did not say straight to Netflix. It will hit Netflix in May. I don't know that it won't.
Wait, what's going to hit Netflix?
Lost in Starlight.
Lost in Starlight.
Lost in Starlight. All right, I'm just going to look
so
it up
it
right
might
now.
have a local release first, and then go there.
Oh, so it's this one here.
Yeah.
That looks really cool.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Naoki Urasawa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously they do a lot of animation over there as is, and that they've known to do that for a while. To the point that like even some animation studios here in the US outsource their animation to South Korea.
They've been doing that for decades.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like it's a lot. But I'm just curious as to like why. Well, it looked like that was a show, right? Like that's Lost in Starlight. It looked like that was a show, didn't look like that was a movie.
It's hard to say. So I think it is a film coming to Korea. Coming to Netflix.
It's an animated
from
feature.
Korea.
It's the first original. Whoa!
Yeah.
I didn't know this. First original Korean animated feature. The first original. First original. That's insane. Really? There's been no original animated features.
Maybe not. Maybe they've been relegated to having to do animation for everybody else except for themselves. Maybe that's what's leading to this push.
And some of the other stuff are just not features, right? So you've got Pororo, which is
still like no single feature that's original from Korea. That's
so
crazy.
To the point that you just made about well, both of you said the same thing about doing other people's stuff. So King of Kings, I don't know if you guys saw that. That is made by a Korean company as well. So it's the faith-based animated feature.
Yeah, but wasn't that story the well, I guess it's not technically is original, right? 'Cause it is.
And so I'm
It's the
I'm
Bible.
agreeing with you guys about the point that it is also not an original story. This is something that was farmed out to them. And I think it's
Looks pretty clean.
MoFac Studios.
Yeah, apparently this movie is doing huge in numbers in terms of like, because it's a very religious based film.
Faith-based
It's doing
bullshit.
really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a faith-based
Faith-based bullshit.
No, I mean it's pretty much like Jesus will teach you this, and so that's what I actually been seeing a lot of that on Cartoon Brew about it, being like, yeah, this is like one of the highest grossing animation films right now, as well as Jumbo, but that's like Jumbo's only in Indonesia, so I'm not really.
Yeah,
It's funny. The animation reminds me of this. Probably happened a couple of years ago. I don't know if you got these ads, but ads for the Wing Feather Saga Kickstarter that happened, which is like this animated series that's also religious based. That is from the same studio, Angel Studios, as King of Kings. Interesting.
Okay, that is interesting.
But that's pretty cool. Good for the government. I think that's awesome.
Lots of money. Yeah,
I mean,
it feeds into a lot of what they're doing now, right? So they got K-pop that's just spreading across the world and has been for the last 10 plus years. And now they're moving into another aspect of just trying to get their culture out there. So
in a world where tariffs are the future, exporting content is probably a safer bet. I don't know. I don't know how that works legally. Does that work at all?
Yeah, I mean, tariffs are on goods. Tariffs are on things that are coming into a dock.
Like not physical things.
Yeah. So like if you strike up a deal with Netflix, then yeah, you should.
I hate that word deal. Trump has ruined that word deal. I hate it so much.
Why?
Because it's like, oh, we're gonna make a deal. Fucking Trump.
Yeah, but the art of the deal is about how bad he is at making deals.
I get it, Jonesy. I get it. I'm just saying he's tainted the word. You don't need to logic me away from this. You know what's weird? It's an irrational feeling.
I never think about him. Unless he comes up.
That must be nice not to think about him.
Unless he comes up, I don't like. There are no words.
Like actually, right now,
I remember. So this is not true. There was a moment last week when I was like, "Huh." Remember like Kofifi and hamburgers and how great that world was? Yeah.
What's hamburger? I don't remember hamburgers.
Hamburgers.
I don't know what that
spell.
is.
It's because he cannot spell.
Oh, I remember.
So he was. Yeah, so he was on Twitter and it was Kofefe and hamburgers. I was like, man, what a heady time we were in.
Yeah.
When your president was just incompetent, not incompetent, and fascist.
Well, I think he's always been a little bit fascist. That's always been a concern of mine. But whatever. This is not a politics podcast, and I don't have nearly the amount of knowledge to speak intelligently on it. But we were talking about religious content, religious films, religious stuff. So it's only natural that we transition to a big announcement that happened yesterday via Prime Video.
Oh.
Hell of a Boss is coming. Hell of a Boss is coming to Prime. And in addition...
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah, Hell of a Boss is coming to Prime. Well, they'll talk about it in the video in a second, which we're going to show.
Because
fuck it, why not? And then also Hazbin Hotel, which is in the midst of its second season production, has been renewed for seasons 3 and 4.
Oh, wow.
So, big things, but I'll let these cartoon characters take it from here.
Is it recording? Oh, okay, it is. Hello there, everyone. It's me, Charlie Morningstar, founder of the Hazbin Hotel, which is totally going amazing, by the way. Thank you so much for asking. Anyway, I'm sure you are all aware of the amazing news that we have been greenlit for seasons 3 and 4 of Hazbin Hotel.
Hold on a sec. I am I'm falling!
Oh my gosh. Hi. Hello. Are you okay, Mr.
Blitz, the O is silent. So what's all this about,
Oh, well, I was telling everyone about how exciting it is that we're getting more seasons of Hazbin Hotel.
Yeah, that's good for you, but that's old news, bitch.
Oh, okay.
I'm here to announce that Hell of a Boss is coming to Prime Video, but plot twist, it's also still going to be on YouTube, so bam! You thought that Hash Brown Motel was the only hell show that Daddy Amazon was horny for? Hell, and all this.
Oh my gosh, wow, that is so great. Congratulations. How does that work?
Well, Chalky, I'll tell you.
It's Charlie.
Listen up, Chuckle Fucks. Prime Video teaming up with Spindle Horse. Ooh, that is a good name. To support the making of Hell of a Boss's remaining season. Now, I'm talking full fucking episodes, full seasons, the whole shebang. And, oh, the best part is, full creative control remains entirely with this bitch who, I guess she made me, she made everything here. She's in charge.
Not a horse.
Really love her.
Then, after a little bit more than a month or so of being on Prime Video first, the show will release in its entirety, as it always has, on YouTube. So basically, we got to keep doing what we're doing, but, you know, bigger.
What? That is the biggest ever!
And the best part is, now we get to fuck around with you guys from time to time.
Wait, fuck around with who now?
Well, let's see here. Do you know an angle dust or an...
Whoa, hey, okay, I get it. Don't give everything away. We get it.
You're a fucking fun sucker. Do you know that? I'm a giver, bitch. I'm giving.
And I love that about you, Blitz, really do. But you have to give them something to be surprised by. That's what makes the wait so worth it. Because, as we all know,
Animation takes a long time.
To share more of the Helliverse with you all. We hope you enjoy more seasons of Hell of a Boss
And Hazbin Hotel
on Prime
Video.
Video. Thank you all so much for getting us here. Really, we could not have done this without you. I'm gonna cry.
That's it. No, fuck this. Let's hit big.
I thought we acted really nicely.
Fuck waiting. Look, we got Moxie, and we got Billy, and Luna, and Stolas, and whoever the fuck this guy is. Oh, and we got Manuba and the cat. Oh, we're all in the same room. We're having a good time. Oh, we're family now. Plus, we got the freaky red guy that everyone's into.
Oh, wait, Alistair doesn't do well on camera.
All right, bye.
So yeah, I probably should have shown the whole thing, but whatever. It was fun, and I think it helped illustrate everything rather than me just explaining it. So
wait,
cool.
I do have a question. This is
Yeah.
a show that already existed that they had been doing on.
So Hell of a Boss came out years ago on YouTube, and it has been running. I think they have like 3 or 4 seasons on
wow.
YouTube of shorts that are like 11 minutes long on YouTube. And I think they were 2 or 3 seasons in when Hell of a Boss came out. Same universe.
Okay.
So yeah, essentially what they're saying now
same
is that
world,
they're
but,
now
like,
going to come on
different
Prime
areas.
and then YouTube afterwards.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then they also sort of hinted at crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
Sort
So,
of
like-
hinted.
I mean,
Yeah.
flat out
I don't
said.
know.
We get to fuck with you.
No, it's very hinted. It's slightly hinted.
Is it hinted? It's pretty on the nose.
Yeah, when I saw it on my Insta feed, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, I loved the first season of Hazbin.
You both did.
Yeah, you're the weird one. You were the weird one there.
It's
I don't
fine.
get you.
It's fine.
Better than
It's
fine.
okay.
It's
We all have
fantastic.
our
So here's
we
the
all
thing.
have our arcane.
We're
At
all
least
a
you
little
didn't have to
fucked
go
up.
on social media to figure out why I didn't like it. How do I engage with someone that didn't like Hazbin Hotel? That
Did you
you
look
haven't
it
had
up?
to do that.
Did you do that?
No, the
He did
arcane
that for
thing that you did. No, it's funny. Speaking of
It's
things,
not so good. You don't know
who
how
was
to
I
talk to
talking
me.
to? Who was I talking to recently? And they found out like, oh, I like stuff, and they're like, oh, you must love Scavenger's Reign, and I'm just kind of like, no,
Oh shit. That is a good one. Be like, oh my god, this is like totally up your alley. Like the animation's great, all the stuff is great. And you're like,
shit's boring. It's so boring. Who was I talking to? Oh yeah, my old roommates. I think you met them, Diego. They recently moved out here, and they
Oh, did
mentioned
they really?
Scavenger's Reign. Yeah, they moved out to where we are about like
the
an
couple
hour.
the couple. Okay, I forget
Yeah.
their names, but yeah, I remember.
Yep.
When I went over there, they had just finished playing Last of Us 2 or Last
Oh,
of Us
nice.
1.
Yeah. God,
Yeah.
we're dating ourselves. It was Last of Us.
I know.
1.
It was Last of Us 1 because I remember we had a whole
I mean, it could be the
conversation about
remaster.
it.
Why'd you say dating yourself?
No, it wasn't. It was not the remaster.
No.
Yeah,
he
it
was
the original.
saying, but he was like, "Oh, we're dating ourselves." Like, could have been the,
The
remaster.
original. To be clear,
Yeah.
the original release.
Now
It was
you
the
are dating
original.
yourself.
Yeah.
Now you are dating.
Yeah. Well, because I was actually because I told my my girlfriend that we were like that I do this podcast, and she was like, how'd you meet them? And I was like, well, I'm a jammer, like, and I started doing the math. I'm like, oh my
15
god,
years
like
ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
And you was like,
15
how'd you
years
meet him?
ago.
I was like, through One Piece podcast. That's how exactly how it started.
Yep.
And they were
That's
like,
crazy.
because we used to do the West Coast podcasting
Mm-hmm.
because they were like East Coast based and we were West Coast based. And then when they had an anime expo, we would just go and get media passes.
Yeah, we'd cover
And
for
then
them.
East Coast,
we
West
would
Coast.
cover
That's
for them.
cute.
Yeah.
Podcast West is what it was called.
Yeah.
It was really Podcast West. And then also
Yep.
there were times where they would be off, they had to do things, and then one of us would take over the podcast for a couple of months.
Oh no, I'm saying like being in another hemisphere, like East Coast, West Coast. That's cute.
Yeah.
It is cute. It's very cute.
But I did, going down to Anime Expo, and I was like, yeah, dude, we used to go to Anime Expo every single year.
Yeah,
That's
we went
cool.
for like 3
And-
years in a row. It was great.
3 years in a row, and like
That
we even
sounds
had
awesome.
that huge ass panel that
Yeah.
one year where we're like, holy shit, we didn't
We had
expect
2
that many
panels
people.
one year.
Yeah, we had 2 panels one year, but then like I did a big ass panel where like we got the main hall,
Yeah.
and I didn't expect that many people to show up, and I was like, holy shit,
What is happening here?
we're sitting here,
What are
like,
we doing?
we're just covering One Piece, but at the time, shit was getting good, so I can imagine that because it was like, I think around the time of Marineford. if
Yeah,
I'm
it was
not
Marineford.
mistaken.
Yep.
So-
Or was it Marineford yet? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was on the precipice of Marineford, aka time skip area.
This
stuff,
means
so it
nothing
was-
to Jonesy.
yeah.
Jonesy's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like I don't watch the One Piece.
Which
Um,
actually kind of makes me laugh thinking about the Dan to Dan teaser that you
Dun, dun,
posted.
dun, 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 which we'll talk
what was
about.
that?
Well, because when they showed it, I was like, wait, haven't I seen this? I was like, no, I read it. I know this because I read it.
Oh,
Because the manga,
okay,
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I was all excited. I was like, I've read this before. It's like there's a weird level of excitement
So
that I felt.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad saying this, just transitioning a little bit to Don Don, even though it's not. Fuck it, we'll transition to it. Part of me is just like, maybe I just shouldn't read the manga, because usually I'm a manga person who likes to
Right.
read the source material, but I feel like the anime has done a really good job of elevating the material to the point where I'm just like, I should just wait for the anime instead of reading the manga.
I don't know, man.
You don't know?
no, I enjoy reading it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too. I was like, it's the same thing with One Piece. Like honestly, I think they're two different mediums for sure.
But
You're
I feel
getting the
like
basic
it's.
story,
But I feel like
the
Don
animation is
Don.
racing.
I feel like Don Don is close enough for me to where it doesn't. I don't know. It almost takes.
I don't know,
away
man.
from
I
it
will.
to-
I will tell you this:
Tell me that.
ever since One Piece animation, the anime came back, and I'm watching it, it's like completely different than the manga. It's the same story, but
Well,
the beats
the One Piece
and the
is
stuff-
different from Don Don though.
No, it's the same thing because Don
It's
Don
not
like
the
did
same
such a
thing.
better job. Yeah, with animation, it
not
totally
the same
freaking cut
thing.
it up a notch.
It's
What do
complete.
you mean?
No, it's completely different in that the animation is adapting the story, whereas Don Don is like transliterating the story.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make
Did
sense?
you see this look on my face? Does it look like I picked
No,
up what
you
you're putting down?
So
that
what
was,
I'm
that
saying-
was totally a meme face, just like
what I'm saying
Yeah, I
is
was like-
this. What I'm saying is this. Don is basically almost panel for panel adapting it, but still, for the most part, not all the time. There are some things that they elevated, like what is it, the dancing ballerina moment. That stuff is really good. I think that
like the
was
fights.
elevated in some of the fights, but for the most part, the story is like panel for
story.
panel reiterating.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas One Piece, because of the nature of the story and where they are in the manga and this and that, it is more heavily adapted to be its own unique experience. To where I can see, oh, they're different experiences. Whereas Don is like, one is the experience and one is the experience, but with animation, really cool animation. To the point where I'm like, it's just, I almost feel like it's better for me just to experience the animation because it's so close but elevated as opposed to just different. Does that make sense?
yes.
Yeah, no, it does,
But
and
no.
I do understand that. But I think it's also the fact that like the anime is so far behind the manga that you can just basically forget. I'm assuming in your case, like you're like, I'll forget what happened, and then like you come back and watch it later, and you're like, oh shit, that was really cool again. That's
That's
what it
fair.
was for me. Because like I so far right now, we are so far, like season 1 and 2 are like so far behind in terms of story that you're just like, oh, it's cool to rewatch and see it
You're
again.
right. You're right. You're right on that front. But I guess for me, I am not far ahead. We've literally
Mm.
read one arc ahead to the point where
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not going to have that same experience unless I
Oh,
just go ahead right now. And right now, frankly, I'm reading Hajime no Ippo on the K Manga app, and I'm just like, I'm just going to vibe with that for a while. I have
that
1,000
is a good
chapters to read
story.
that.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
K manga. What K manga?
Oh, have you not? K Manga, it's Kodansha Manga. They have their own app.
Oh, Kodansha manga. I was like, I thought you were talking about like K mangas and
Oh, like Korea?
like
Like
Korean manga. I
manhwa?
was like, why?
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
because I was like, why would Hajime no Ippo be on there? That's why I was so
Yeah.
confused.
No, Manga has their own app. And I like it.
Okay,
It's pretty good. I highly
that's
recommend
cool.
it. Apparently, you need to pay for more stuff, but I haven't got to the point where I need to pay
Is
for
it more
anything
than
yet.
Shonen Jump? Because Shonen Jump's like $2 a month. I play that. I'll pay that. That's
No,
fine.
it's different.
Wow.
I think it's kind of more like Webtoon, where it's like you have a number of free stuff, and then you might need to start paying. And I don't know if you pay within like batches
Is
or
it
anything.
pay per view type
I
of
don't know.
thing?
I haven't gotten to the
Oh,
point where I had to pay for anything yet, so I haven't
okay,
experienced it. But I'll let you know once I do. But
okay. Well, I might
Hajime
just
no Ippo,
download it.
man. I love Hajime no Ippo. So good. But
Because I mean,
Hajime
at the
no
same,
Ippo also
go
is
ahead.
just like a childhood thing because I watched the anime when I was like when it came out in like 2000 or something.
Mm.
Yeah,
In the dub, which is just like not great, but
It's good enough.
nostalgic. It's
Yeah.
good enough and it's nostalgic and it's a good time. Anyway,
yeah.
what were you gonna say, Diego?
No, I was gonna say, I think the case is that ever since like Shonen Jump Alpha back in the day, where there was like as an app, and
Yeah.
then like you were able to
Mm-hmm.
just get all these chapters and like basically the entire magazine. And then I started paying for the service for like I said, $2-3 a month. It's like sure, you
Yeah.
get backlogs and like all the volumes and everything access
It's
to it, which
worth
is
every
great.
penny.
Um, I just on Sundays, when the new stuff comes out, I just read everything. So like I'm
Mm-hmm.
literally reading all the new stuff. They have a new one about like a person where like Beethoven comes back to life and like he teaches this guy piano.
Ooh.
It's really, I mean, it's stuff like that. Like that's how I got into Sakamoto Days. It's how I got into Dandadan. It's like how I get into like all these series, and then if they're successful after like 100 chapters or so, bam, here comes the anime, right? So like Good Luck, Good Days, I think, or like whatever the one is with Charlie and that guy who can't die. Undead Good Luck is I think is what it's
Undead
called.
Unluck.
Undead Unluck. That one, the manga is
Oh,
over.
I keep
Like
forgetting
the
to read that one.
yeah, the manga is over on that already. So the story is over. But the anime is still only on it's going to be on its second season or third season. They have so much content to cover in the anime. So like they're going to be on there for a while. That's what I mean, like when you're like up to date on stuff.
Yeah, I could see that
It's
now
so
if you're up
like
to date.
you go back and you're like, "Oh shit, that's right. That happened." And it's really cool to see it animated.
It's so
Especially if they're
weird.
doing season formats.
The modern anime stuff is weird to me because I'm like seasons. That wasn't like a thing when we were watching
No.
it. It was like you
But I
had like
appreciate it a lot
you
better.
had like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and like Dragon Ball, and
Mhm.
maybe a few others that were just continuously going, and
Yep.
then everything else was like a season, and that's pretty much it. Which I kind of like. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of prefer that because I like just complete stories that are just like boom, story's done, moving on to the next thing. I prefer
Yeah.
that, but I know I'm in the minority.
I like the season. Oh, you're talking about like a single season anime as opposed to long running,
Yeah.
or you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now I feel like everything is seasonal, anime wise. Not everything, but a lot of things
Well,
are
it's getting
seasonal.
there. I think, and it's one of the questions that I wanted to ask the anime producer at One Piece Day in Dallas.
You need
I,
more words. You just gave that was like a word soup. I don't know what you're talking about. Can you
okay.
explain what you mean?
So One Piece Day happened in Dallas, like in January or in June or whatever or not June, in March. Sorry, of this past year. Like we're like about a month or two ago.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask them because of the aspect of the anime being sort of delayed by like 6 months or whatever. If the plan was to go into a season mode for One Piece, do a
Mm.
season and then do like little rehash arcs of like Fishman Island or what kind of what they did with Fishman Island, where they
Or like
redid
the
it
thing
and
where they
like
do the short, what's it called? Fan letter?
Yeah.
Like more like little
well, no, I mean
standalones.
fan letter I think was a very specific thing for the 25th anniversary of the anime. I think that was a very special occasion one. It was more about the fact of just like the they basically reanimated the Fishman arc and made it more condensed.
Yeah.
So instead of being like this big old thing, they like reduced it and made it a little bit better for to follow. So I was like,
That's
if they
cool.
do that, I think that would be really cool because then they can just like go back to season and then like they'll because right now, man, you look at the animation is beautiful. It's totally worth the wait.
Yeah.
So I
And
think if
they
they
can adapt
did,
it. Are
I
they
think if
adapting
they
the
did,
content
oh
as
yeah,
opposed to transliterating it and then adding filler in between?
hmm but it's good. It's the good type of filler. The filler that like is really cool and exciting, and it's very well animated. So I
Yeah, I got
think
to get
that
back to that.
I think and to help out animators and everyone across the board, seasons I think are the best way to go. I don't think I think the old model is basically out, and I know that they really want to stick there because of the fact that that weekly time slot, and like for some reason it's like you have to have content, otherwise you're gonna lose it, and then
Yeah,
no one's gonna watch your show. No, I don't think that's really the case with One Piece. I think
not
you
the
can
case
just move
anymore.
it whenever you want, and it's gonna be fine. And most people, I would beg to say, and I don't know about because in Japan if they have it in streaming and local stuff, but like we're all watching it on streams, like at our own pace and our own stuff. So like we don't need to be glued to TVs on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. anymore. I could watch the same show at like 7 a.m. on Sunday or something like that.
Why would you watch at 7 a.m.? It's too early. It's
I don't know.
crazy.
My cat wakes me up at 6 sometimes. I got nothing to
Yeah,
do.
that's
So
fair. Actually, what am I saying? I watch it at 7 a.m. all the time. Anyway. Anyway, moving on. Some fun, exciting news. We got Star Wars news. So it's kind of a multi thing. So back in Star Wars Visions, which is the sort of the anime anthology series for Star Wars, a few years ago, Volume One came out. Had a great segment called The Ninth Jedi that I think did a really cool job of injecting new lore into it, having to do with like the colors of the lightsabers, which isn't something that's consistent with the universe, but whatever. I thought it was really cool. And apparently, Star Wars Visions Volume 3 is coming out, and there was a trailer. Is that correct? I didn't look at the trailer, Jonesy, but you said there was a trailer for it.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I did not
I
watch
didn't
it.
see the trailer, but the cool thing is Volume 3 is going to have another episode of The Ninth Jedi, which is that one I just talked about. And in addition, it's getting a new standalone spin-off series, which is great because I know when the first one came out to me, that was the standalone. That was like the
Standout.
standout. There you go. The standout series for me. It was like animated beautifully. It had a really cool backbone to it and foundation where I was like, you could make a whole series out of this, and I'll watch that. And here we go. I'm getting that opportunity to watch it now. So volume 3 of Star Wars Visions is coming out October 29th, so we still got a while to go. It is not clear when the new series would be coming out, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm happy that it's happening. What about you, Jonesy? What are your thoughts on that? Did you enjoy that one, and where's your head at with that?
I'm kind of lukewarm on Star Wars Visions. Like, I don't know what it is. I just am not. Oh, I think I know what it was. I think generally I'm just kind of burned out on Star Wars content, and there isn't a lot going on in that world that excites me, which is very weird because you know what I did last night? I went to see the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith with my family. So I took them out to
Why?
see it because I really dig Revenge of the Sith. I enjoy it.
Interesting. Okay.
But you know what they're doing in the Star Wars universe now, like with the exception of Andor, I'm kind of like the last
I really
season
like
of.
Skeleton Crew.
I was of two minds about it, and so I don't think we've heard whether or not they're even going to renew that. Right? It's probably not going to happen.
I don't know why they
we
would. It
don't
was
know
pretty
yet.
standalone.
Yeah, I think it's I'm still in the process of watching it,
Yeah.
but from what I saw, I think it's a pretty one-off movie. But The Visions ones have always been great, though, dude. I don't know. Did you guys? Jonesy? Did you say you watched any of the other ones?
Yeah, I did. They're fine.
I watched
Yeah.
Volume 1. I didn't watch Volume
They
2
have
because
a-
they're so hit or miss, though. Some are great and some are just boring. So I'm like,
Yes,
eh.
that is it exactly. Like I don't
Yeah.
find myself to be terribly excited about this.
I like the fact that they're, I guess, doing a second of that Samurai Jedi
Oh,
story.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool.
I thought that one was animated beautifully, but I thought it was boring.
What, the Samurai Jedi one?
Yes. The black and
Yeah.
white one?
So you're explaining
Yeah,
everything about why I'm not particularly excited about Star Wars Visions.
I again, yes. You look at that. It's not. I will say this. It's hard. It's hard to get excited about products and things with you guys because you guys are like, oh, it looks STEM.
You know, and that's really
It
funny
looks
because like
boring.
as you're talking, like what I'm envisioning is like you slowly pulling out your lightsaber and backing up out of the room. Like, what the fuck is with these guys? Yeah, it's fine. There is nothing too much about it. Like Jammer said, I think it is hit or miss enough that I don't get excited about it. And by contrast, I get more excited for something like Love, Death, and Robots than I do.
I have the same idea with Love, Death,
Star
and
Wars
Robots.
Visions.
To me, those are pretty hit or miss, too. So I stopped after season 1.
I think season 2 is bad. Like
Okay,
straight
cool.
up, I think season 2 is bad. But season 1 and 3, pretty good.
Okay.
Sorry, Diego. You were there
Yeah,
thinking.
I feel like we just always just
Just deflate.
we deflate you. I don't mean to do that.
Hey, is that Diego's Joy over there? Shoot it!
Yep, pretty
Get it!
much.
Get it! It's getting
This is
away.
why-
It's still moving.
This is why I do my arcane things every once in a while.
You just gotta change it up a little bit.
Yeah, well,
gotta
I
get
can't
us
be
a
the
taste
only
of our
one that gets
medicine.
excited about shit, and you guys get excited. I'm like, no, you know what? Fuck it. It's my turn to fucking rain on you guys' parade.
But here's my thing. My problem is I think in the last few years we have just been flooded with mid Star Wars content. Like some of it has been very good, some of it has been very bad. And I think that has kind of stunted my excitement for Star Wars generally.
Yeah, I'll give you the movies because the movies were garbage, especially the
I think the last
one
season of
the-
Mando was terrible. The Acolyte was up and down. What's
I like the
another one?
idea of the acolyte more than the execution.
Yeah.
The idea was really cool, but it was boring.
It was just, I think what happened was it started off slow because they're trying to build intrigue, and it just didn't give the intrigue and the rush
But
that
it
it
took
needed.
risks. It was
It
cool
did
in that
take- and
sense.
Hey, good for you,
I
yeah.
love the Acolyte. I wish it would come back. If you go back right now and you read stories, it is like the second most watched Disney Plus show.
So let's go through.
Okay.
Andor's good. Skeleton Crew.
Andor's
I
is
would
top.
Yeah, and I think Acolyte hit or miss based on that. Like the idea. The last season of Mandalorian completely destroyed for me like everything that I thought the show was building towards, and made it good. Ahsoka was okay, but they changed the
like
character.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's okay. Then the problem with it was Rebels was so good that I think that it like the characterizations of them were so strong that when they translated them to live action, they changed enough of it where I wasn't into it. Did not like the Bad Batch. I think that Omega is so fucking plucky and irritating. And Jammer, you know my thing. Like irritating kids are irritating kids, and I just cannot stand them. Book of Boba Fett, not particularly good. So like when you look at all of that stuff and then you factor in the movies as well, you're like, I'm not entirely sure why I'm here. And so the idea of like, are you excited for Star Wars Visions? Like,
I don't know. For me, it's like the thing that I liked about I know people shit on Book of Boba Fett.
No, I'm
But
with
the
Diego.
thing-
I'm kind of
Yes.
with you. I liked Book of Boba Fett more than most people, but continue.
I liked it because again, I think the aspect about for me that I love about these other Star Wars stories is that they're not really being like, oh, we got to focus on fucking Luke Skywalker and the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
Like it's about kind of doing other things. And like, so for me, Book of Boba Fett, the thing that I loved was just, and I know this probably
The
super,
fucking
like,
theme. The theme
it
was so
was-
good.
the theme was good, but like what I'm referring to is the storyline with the Sand People.
yeah, that was good.
Love that part, like the aspect of like the entire Star Wars series, you're thinking of these people as just freaking out there. You're like, I don't know, they just shoot things and like they're just assholes. But then
you find out that they're indigenous people and they're just like fucking treading on their land. Like
and they're
I'm
treading
all
on their
for
land,
all of that,
and like
but
they're like fucking that whole entire storyline with
Listen.
like the train and like I fucking
conceptually,
love that.
I am 100% there with you. My problem again, it is a very acolyte type issue where the execution was just kind of, and then also like it is apparent to me that Timur Morrison acting chops just kind of weren't there as much as they were previously. I remember him from like when I was a kid. It's not Once We're Warriors. What was the name of that movie? I think it was that. And like when I saw him as a kid, it was like, this guy is an amazing actor. And then you saw him in Star Wars and you're like, oh yeah, he's a pretty good actor. And then it's apparent that it just fell off.
I don't know if he was given a whole lot to do back in the day in Star Wars with Jango Fett.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even now with the new one where he's actually Boba, it's like, okay, well, what are you like? How is he going to act? He's a really old man. He's not gonna do flips and shit. He's not going to be doing all.
I don't
this
know.
Stuff,
He was pretty
right?
badass in that introductory episode of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
I remember seeing that for the first time and being like, "Oh, he's cool. He's actually cool in this."
They gave him a big ass stick and he fought that way. But I'm talking about like when you actually put him in like an actual like Boba Fett-esque type fight. You know, not being unarmed.
Yeah, the weird,
Like,
the whole scene about him being on motorcycles and like doing like this, like it was just very weird.
No, and I know that there was a couple of little things. Like I remember that everyone was like talking about that scene where like the guy flips his gun and like the spin and like
I don't care. Like the spin, I give zero fucks.
Whatever.
Like yeah, I'm very whatever about that. Everybody complaining about that, just like the number of times that Obi-Wan and Anakin flip their fucking blades and swords while they're fighting it, like it's just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
But,
and for me,
I just
Book
think
of Boba Fett is interesting to me just because like I feel like with between the story itself and Robert Rodriguez kind of spearheading it, it just felt very like a lot of Robert Rodriguez's stuff, like very Mexican coded to the point where I'm just kind of like I vibe with it a lot more in terms of what it is.
Well, at least it told a story, in my opinion, and that's the part that I think it told a story, and that's what it needed to do. And like, and I understand the movies didn't tell a story. There was no fucking story in the movies. There was no cohesive story from one.
Oh, okay.
All the way through, you know, like from like the sequel, the 7, 8, 9. I'm talking 7 through 9. There was no cohesive story all the way through.
But 8 was fucking good. I know I'm alone.
That means
there.
nothing.
No, it means everything.
It doesn't because it doesn't really do anything to 9, and it actually doesn't even do. It's just
that's how life works, Jammer. I don't know what you want.
There's no
fine.
I know.
And then throw Obi-Wan in there as well. Don't forget about Obi-Wan.
No, and the problem that I have with Obi-Wan is I liked the overall.
You like the concept.
I like the concept.
However,
but for me, it was the fact of like that last part where all of a sudden he's like throwing rocks at him and shit and being all like Master Jedi bullshit, and then realizes he's got him on the ropes and he knows that this guy's evil and he can't kill him. He can't kill him again. Why? Because he has to leave him alive, so that way, because he otherwise, and it doesn't fucking happen in episode 4.
Yeah.
I don't know that
it is literal plot armor.
There was no story there either. Like that's the other aspect of it. Like you could have had him do the fucking thing and like go and train with Yoda or some shit.
Here's the thing.
And then fight not the real Vader, but go and do like the fucking
his apprentice, like
not his apprentice. I mean, sure, you could have had that.
Yeah, you could have made a secret apprentice for Vader that you do the thing, because that's been a thing in the video games. What I was thinking
that, or you do the sort of shit that Luke did in that in the swamp. I forget the fucking planet, but like when he fights Vader, the Dagobah system. Yeah, thank you. Where he fights Vader, but it's like a vision of himself type thing, because it's more introspective and more force-based.
Here's kind of what we're doing. We're relitigating Star Wars. Like we do this all the time. I don't disagree with you, but I also feel like you're just making my point about why I'm not excited about Visions, just to bring it back. And so that's the that's the reason why. Like it is you wash, rinse, and repeat the same line every time. Where I like the concept. Well, what you're saying is you like Star Wars.
No,
and then the execution.
No, I disagree with that.
No.
I disagree with that.
I get that there are layers to that.
Okay.
but you're plugging and playing like characters and themes and ideas in this world. You like that. And then the execution of that is always, not always, a lot of times, I feel like we're at like 50-50 or maybe even worse. And so you just wash, rinse, and repeat that every time. And so the idea of like, do you want some more of that? Like, well, the last sandwich you made wasn't that good. You're like, but would you like some more? Like, I guess.
So you want to hear something funny?
I thought you were about
Better
to
make
say,
me
would you like
laugh.
some more?
It
I
baby
trans-
make me laugh.
I transitioned. I mentioned I made a really fucking awesome transition to Don Didon and never actually showed the trailer at all, like I planned on doing. We didn't even talk about it. We just talked a little about this and that. So we should get to that in a minute. And then
Oh, you want to go
That's
back
fine.
to Dan?
No,
today?
we're not going. We're not going back.
No, we're not going back. Okay.
Just not going. Just
No,
fine.
I was
Going
like,
back
just
to
keep
where?
moving
Going back
forward.
Yeah, just
No,
yeah,
the
just
thing,
drive
Jonesy,
forward.
that I will say is that I
We're going
guess
back to
for
Star
me-
Wars though.
No, well, because I just want to respond to the last thing he said about putting ideas in, and I'm like, you are correct. It's the fact that I like Star Wars in a sense, but it's like just from a perspective of storytelling.
Yeah.
That is the aspect where like I like that they're trying new things, and I want to support that endeavor.
Sure.
And I am a half full positive person where like, oh man, this is entertaining to a certain extent. Therefore, for me, I really like it. But I understand
fair.
why people certainly don't like certain elements of it. That being said, if they do a show, I'm going to critique it and be like, I think it should have been done this way because it would have been more spiritual, and then you don't have to deal with the whole plot armor thing because then it just completely fucks up the entire like.
Yeah.
For me, Obi-Wan, the standout was little Princess Leia. Like I think she did phenomenal. I really like that character, and I know
think that
people
you
don't
are
like
in
kids.
I was going to say, I think you're in a minority, and it's weird because me, as someone that doesn't like kids, I was like, nah, I'm on board for this. Like there was something about her that
Yeah.
she was like,
I just didn't like the blocking of the way they did things. It was really distracting.
sure.
The you could feel the volume intensely, and it was just like really hard for me to take it seriously.
As much as I don't like Omega, I liked Little Leia. I just did.
L squared, little Leia.
Yeah. LL.
LL, yeah.
LL. You know, just,
But it's
just going
little.
back on. I
LIL
love
apostrophe.
I loved Skeleton Crew, and I really liked Jude Law's character in that one. And what I really appreciate about his character at the end, I thought there was something really cool, and I don't know if it was subtle, but they didn't fully explain it. Where, I mean, part of me the whole time is at the end, I'm like, why aren't you just shooting all these people and stopping them from doing things? But it made it
he's a
very
good
clear
person.
throughout that he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And he said something early on about how, like, when he was a kid and like pirates came, I don't remember the specific story. Bad people came and no one ever saved him.
Right.
And there was this moment at the very end when all the good guys came and stopped him from coming. And there was the slightest smile that he had where he was just all like,
We're not
holy
doing
shit,
phrasing anymore.
the good guys came for them and I'm the bad guy.
We're not going to do phrasing anymore.
What does that mean?
All the good guys showed up and stopped him from coming. And then,
You know what I
and then
mean?
you just said it again.
No,
You
the
said-
good
and then the good guys came.
the good guys showed up.
This
and
is
stopped.
a podcast for adults.
The good guys showed up and stopped the bad guys from doing things, and he was the bad guy. So there was like this little moment where he's
Yeah.
just like, "Huh."
I like that. And he
I
seemed
thought
like he
that
was
was
a little
cool.
proud of the kids.
Yeah,
You know what it
he was
was
just
to me?
proud of the kids. Yeah, it was,
I was-
great, and they didn't
Was it the
explain it.
kids?
It was
Here was
just
my
all in a
frustration.
look, and it was great.
I think this is my frustration, and this is on me.
It is on you. I agree.
I enjoyed the show, and I wanted the mystery of At-Atten to be more than what it was. And when it got to the end, I realized how much that was my fault, because with the exception of one mystery, one surprise, Star Wars is terrible at mystery and surprise. They have Luke, I am your father. That is it.
that wasn't really
Everything
even
else-
a mystery. That was like that just came out of nowhere.
I said mystery surprise, right? Like,
Okay.
aside from that, everything else is the most basic. And if you walk into a Star Wars property trying to think like, who's Rey's parents? Like, what's this gonna be? And blah blah. Well, and it's just,
Palpatine.
it's
Yeah.
the fucking. It is. It's
that's-
Always
terrible.
Palpatine.
Yeah,
Always
it's always
Palpatine.
Palpatine.
And so I from that perspective, I set myself up for failure with Skeleton Crew. But I think you're right. It is. I would put it on the good side of the stuff that they've put out. And the thing that I didn't like about it was 100% my fault. And the thing that I should give them extra points for, given that I've said multiple times I don't like plucky characters, they introduced a slew of borderline plucky characters, and there was only one that I ended up
Which one?
not liking. You know who?
No, actually, I don't.
The director's daughter. She's fucking aggravating.
Who is the director's daughter?
And maybe not director. The administrator.
The main girl.
Yeah, she was annoying.
Oh.
And it was funny. Like, she's intentionally annoying because the more time you spend with her mom, you're like, oh, you're both fucking aggravating. Like, I get this. This is intentional. This wasn't like this is what I thought was bad writing.
My big criticism of that show is that the main character was the boy, but then once they get into space, it's the girl.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know. It felt weird. It felt like a bait and switch where it's about this kid. No, it's not. It's about this other kid.
Listen, Jammer, I don't know if you know this, but Star Wars likes plucky, brown-haired white girls. That's true. Where we are.
That is
so
true.
If you think you're watching a story about little brown boy with like Jesus hair, absolutely not.
Jesus hair. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on a bit to our last segment, which is all about what we have been watching lately.
What have I been watching? Oh, yeah.
Well, hold on.
We're always watching.
There we go. Okay, now you can go, Jonesy. You can tell us what you've been watching
The
lately.
fuck was that?
That
Is
was
that
a
something
segment.
new?
That was a segment. That was a
Yeah,
segment.
that's new. But that's new.
That's new.
Okay. I wish would. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We're live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Yeah, we did it live.
What have I been watching? So I just finished Win or Lose on Disney.
What is Win or Lose?
Win or Lose is a multi-perspective story about a softball game. So you get one event that everything is leading towards, and it's just shot from the perspective of several different characters leading up to that moment. I did not think that I would enjoy this as much as I did. There were, I don't know if it's an issue of marketing or what, but there were far more adult themes and elements to this than what I was expecting. And I guess given that it was coming from Pixar, I should have given it more of a chance than I did. So that's on me. But I ended up really enjoying it. It had like really good laughs. The emotion to it was really good. And the story ultimately was pretty good. Do you think the kids won? They seem like they won.
I don't think they won.
You don't think they won?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's not that it matters. I was curious.
So I guess that's a minor spoiler. Sorry, everyone. But basically, it's called Win or Lose. And at the end, we don't know if they won or they lost the championship.
This is the first time I've ever hearing of this thing, by the way.
Really?
So
We've talked about it before.
Greatly. When?
It
was a while ago.
Recent episode.
Yeah.
I
Past
might not
episode.
have been on. I may not have been on because I would have remembered.
Okay.
But you know what's so basically it's kind of like it's 8 episodes long, and each episode follows the perspective of a different character, and it replays like the first 2-week period or so, whatever long it is, like from one game and then a championship game and all the stuff in between. And each character kind of has their own really unique perspective. So one character has all of her sweat turns into like a little anthropomorphic sweat blob that is all of her anxiety and personified. One character transforms into sort of like a business person because she has to be the adult of the family. One character has like armor that he has around him whenever he gets insecure that just pops up, and it personifies their specific thoughts and perspectives in ways that are very cartoony and great. And one thing I think is really cool is there's this shot at the end of episode 1 that is like a single like dolly shot that is pushed throughout, and it shows like all the characters and where they are leading up to the championship game. And it is the same exact shot except for one change as it is at the very end of the show. And it's really cool. At the beginning you see it and you don't really know all these characters, and by the end you know why everyone is acting a specific way in that shot, and it's just really satisfying. Very satisfying. I'm surprised it got made, and I saw a post on Reddit once where it's just like, who is this for? Because it kind of looks like it's for kids, but I'm not sure kids would find it very interesting.
My kids
Jonesy?
watched it. So my kids are 9 and 10, and they watched it before me.
Did they like it?
They watched the whole thing, watched it all the way through. I would have that same thought, but for the fact that I have two people in my house that sat and watched the whole thing. They enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
Did you watch it with them?
no.
Yeah,
okay.
because I mentioned it to you, and you're like, my kids watched it. It didn't grab me, and I'm like, you should actually sit down and watch it, and then you did.
And then I did. And so that was ultimately it. It does not. So to your point about the animation, it's not because it looks like standard Pixar animation. There is something about it that just does not make me feel like I would like it. Like I walked by, I looked at it, and I could not tell you what it is.
You
And
lost
it was
your sense of childhood wonder.
no.
Because it looks very, like I'm looking at it, it looks very bright, like animation style that I would watch for sure.
I think part of it might be the subject. Like I didn't give a shit about softball. And I think the fact that it was centered around kids was also another thing that probably made me less interested in it. So those are two strikes against it. And, you only have so many hours
Are you
in the
proud
day.
of yourself?
No. I was straight off the dome, baby. Like that just, I had no time to be proud. So those two things together just made me like, nah, I'm not interested in this. There was nothing external to it. So it was very much unlike Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which it was the conversation around it that made me not want to see it versus this. It was just seeing it made me not want to watch it.
Seeing it, but you did watch it.
But I did watch it. And when I said seeing it, I mean like walking by other people watching it.
Yeah, because it's like you just it's like when you just are just passively just walking by and see something on screen, like you're just like, oh, that looks stupid because it's devoid of any context and devoid of any sort of investment you might have in the characters. So it just seems blah.
I don't even think I got to like stupid. I just was like, I'm making a sandwich. Now I'm done making my sandwich. Now I should leave.
Moving on from there.
It's a lot of sandwich making on talk about on this episode, and it's making me hungry.
Sandwiches are delicious. That's why.
I haven't had breakfast yet, bro. I literally just woke up.
Oh.
I was about to say I haven't had breakfast, but I fucking have. I don't know what I was talking about.
There was solidarity, but unofficial. The other thing that was interesting to me about this, and you brought this to my attention, Jammer. So there was a Hollywood Reporter article that came out in December of last year. And it said Disney pulls transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose streaming series. And the beginning of it says that Pixar's original animated series, Win or Lose, will no longer include a transgender storyline in a later episode, the Hollywood Reporter has learned. So
that's false.
Well, and so here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out when this started because the Hollywood Reporter, you know how at the end of articles that you will usually say like, oh, Win or Lose is set to start streaming on blah, 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 blah. It does not have a date. So I don't know where they got their information from versus whether or not Disney had time to change their minds or if this was ever true to begin with. And so it is very apparently untrue if you watch the show. There's an entire episode that addresses this. And
it's just not. I think maybe what they did is maybe there was a scene that explicitly stated it that they just cut out. But if you have any semblance of media literacy, it's pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably what it was. Because I mean, that's the thing. The people who would get upset about this do not have media literacy. So, yeah, shots fired. Fuck y'all.
Yeah,
wow.
And so I mean, it even
says,
well, it's weird because it says there's a Today article that says in December Disney confirmed it was pulling a transgender storyline from an episode of Win or Lose.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I haven't watched it, but from my understanding of reading the article that you posted, Jim, because I read that because I was like trying to catch up on all the conversation.
Yeah,
there was again, anytime that ever gets brought up, there's always going to be controversy. So I think they said that to sort of do that. I also didn't see the show being marketed as at all. Like
I feel like it got abandoned. I think what happened was they basically realized that this Disney Plus was not really going to be the location for Pixar moving forward. They weren't going to invest any more money in like standard length series anymore. And so they're just like, we're just going to, put this out. It'll do its thing, but we're not going to put any more money into marketing it because we don't want to set any expectations going forward that this is going to be regular.
So
That
here's
would be
what happened.
my guess.
I think you all are right. So here's what happened. So in the Today
I'm
article,
always right.
it says that back in December, some viewers protested while others celebrated after Disney confirmed that references to gender identity had been removed from one character's story arc. So, Diego, I know you didn't see it, but what you said is exactly right. They don't talk about it. But if you watch it, it is like you cannot miss it. Right? It is the entire crux of this episode. Not the entire, but it is like, let's say 60-40. Some huge split where you watch someone literally transition throughout the course of the episode. And it is about moving to a new place and meeting new people and finding people that accept you for who you are. And so it is almost like, hey guys, we don't want you to do DEI anymore. It's like, okay, we won't talk about DEI anymore, but they still do the thing. And so I find that to be kind of a fascinating in run around this. And it actually mirrors a lot of what corporations are doing with DEI positions and jobs. And like, they're like, okay, we won't talk about it anymore, but they're still doing the thing. I find that to be kind of a fascinating way of doing this.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole
It's
thing. Like I
sad.
said, they want to. It is sad that you can't address it, but like I said, and I
It's
will
pretty
repeat
overt,
it
though.
again for those in the back who didn't fucking hear me the first time. The people who do not have media literacy are the ones that get upset by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why they had to remove that because all they hear is transgender.
But they
or
hadn't
DEI.
seen it at that point. It was a
Yeah.
report.
No,
They
so
hadn't seen it.
this is December. The show comes out in February, and this is also kind of fascinating. Another thing that people were frustrated, but it's kind of interesting watching this and then going back and reading this stuff because I'm again totally unaware. It also said that there was some controversy because a Christian character was openly praying. I didn't even conceptualize of that scene.
Oh, she's super Catholic. She was
No,
super
but like
Catholic in that
I
episode.
got it, but
She was doing the sign of the cross. She was putting that on the plate.
But you got to understand, like, growing up and watching cartoons, characters did that all the time, right? They're like, they would be falling from a cliff, like, right? Like, that is what characters did. So I don't code it as being a message. It is just how cartoons have always been.
Yeah.
Right before Wile E. Coyote gets blown up, he would pray or do the sign of the cross or like something create like that's just cartoons. And so I find it to be a really interesting, fascinating, like, rah.
Last
Wait,
thing
people were pissed off about that?
So
Is that what the controversy was on like the person praying or something?
let's see. They just brought it up in the context of saying, like, you've removed this thing about gender identity. Here's this other thing about this.
But you kept the sign of the cross. You kept the Christian character. I see.
Okay.
It's like a criticism almost.
Yeah. But really quick, I'm going to see if this works. I'm gonna show you that cool shot that I really like. Where the hell is it? Can I share this? Chrome tab. Is this? Oh, is it letting me? All right, we'll see if this works. Probably won't. Do you see anything? It's black, isn't it?
Yes.
It's
It is
black.
Yep, it's black.
Damn it! I thought it might do that. I thought it might.
It's fucking racist.
Yeah,
man.
it's that whole thing.
It's racist.
I want to show you the shot, but I can't. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I now you guys are talking about it, I'll probably try to watch it at some point this week.
Yeah, it's great. Highly recommended.
So yeah, I watched that, and then this isn't necessarily watching, but I pre-ordered a Switch yesterday.
What? You actually got a pre-order?
So here's the weird thing. I didn't realize that this was as difficult as it was, and I was kind of annoyed. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
happened on the
100%.
24th. I guess they reopened them. I was working.
they opened them for the
I
first
was
time.
busy.
They opened
Yeah.
it for the first time.
Well, you're right. I say reopen because I know that there was a date. I think the 9th.
It was
that
the
they were
9th
supposed to
originally.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go into the store to a GameStop, and he goes, I was like, hey, do you have any Switch pre-orders? He goes, the pre-orders opened yesterday. I'm like, so no? He goes, yeah, they're all gone. And I was like, I used to work at GameStop. Was I this cunt when I worked at GameStop? Like, there's a yes or no answer to this question.
Where
Because
you could just say like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're out."
I'm sorry, we're out.
Right.
That's
And
it.
then I went to a different GameStop. So this is on my way to see Star Wars. So I left the house, went to the one closest to me. They didn't have any. Then I went to the one closer to the theater, and they did have them. Now, what sucks is it's not the Mario Kart bundle.
Oh, it does suck. Now you got to pay $80 for Mario Kart as opposed to
Yeah.
50.
Wait,
I mean,
to go see Star Wars.
a whole 30
what
bucks.
Star Wars did you go see?
Oh, the Revenge of the Sith thing he was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Episode
Wait.
10.
So yeah, I did not realize that was going to be, and so I started listening to the Vergecast, and they were talking about how impossible they were to get, and I was like, huh, it's interesting.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got lucky.
Did
Good
I
for
know
you.
friends that
Yes.
that freaking
Yes, you did. You did get lucky. You got lucky,
you did get
Jonesy.
lucky.
The guy in front
I know-
of me, so I couldn't tell if the sales clerk was bullshitting us because I was this person when I worked at GameStop. So there's a guy in front of me getting one, and then I got one. He's like, yeah, you guys got our last two. I'm like, you're so full of shit.
No,
But-
it's why did you think it's a big launch? It's huge. As much as people are complaining about the price. Yeah. Well, anyways, what else? I think I'm good right now. That's sort of been the main thing that where I watched last week. I also am watching as anime Run with the Wind, which is a running anime. It's pretty okay. It's
Run
pretty
with
okay.
the Wind is amazing, bro. I fucking love that. I love that show.
Oh, do you? I
It's
read
a
the
great
book.
show.
I read the book
Yeah.
at the end of the year, or at the end of the last year, or maybe the beginning of this year. And I was like, that was fun. And then I watched the anime, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like 6 episodes in or 7 episodes in. I'm actually wondering, because I feel like I'm 6 episodes in, and they just won over the last person to participate. I'm like, this is a 12-episode series. Like, there's not a
Yeah.
whole lot of time for them to actually get good at running.
It takes that much to convince them to start doing this shit, and like,
Yeah.
dude, but it pays off so well. Honestly, it's fucking.
Well, I'm
chef's
excited to
kiss.
keep watching it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll keep on watching it. It's super fun. I'm a huge fan of sports, and I just talked about, Hajime no Ippo, watching that, and I think that was sort of like helped cement my love of sports anime in general. So, good
Yeah.
stuff. What are you watching, Diego? Anything that you'd like to share before we close out?
I know I'm a little behind, but I just finished watching Invincible season 3. Is that the
Mhm.
last one?
Yeah.
Season
Yep.
3? Yeah. Yeah, that shit got fucking dark real fast, and I was telling my friend because we were watching it together, and I was like, bro, after an episode, I'm like exhausted from just like how much fucking visceral violence there is. I don't know if like it's like an overwhelming thing, especially towards the 8 later episodes. But like watching people just get torn apart for an hour, you're like, holy shit, like this is a lot. Just all the carnage and destruction. You're like, fuck me, dude. To live in that world would fucking suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a regular.
Yeah, everyone gets even as anyone, everyone just gets casually torn apart constantly in that series.
Shot in the head.
Yeah. Well, the whole Rex storyline, I fucking loved. By the way, I
It's
love
fantastic.
I love that storyline. I love that whole thing. And apparently because my friend read the comic book, he's like, he doesn't blow up himself that way. It's different in the comic than it in the
Yeah.
actual show. And I was like, this is what I love. It's like when they see that and they're like, yeah, let's change it to make it even better. Because I think it was better based on what he told me.
And that
The
character,
explanation.
the character that he was with was a man in the comic as well, and not together. So they also altered that to bring in a little bit more humanity for both of those characters. Like give that shrinking character more play and also bring more humanity to Rexplode. So
That's
good.
good.
It's
That's
good stuff.
good. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really freaking great. I the whole scene where fucking Mark is having to face off against Conquest, like that whole episode.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fucking amazing, dude. But Jesus Christ, I thought Oliver was gonna get fucking torn open. Like at one point, the way he fucked over Eve and fucking just made her a fucking donut, I was like,
What does that
dude,
mean?
it was just so fucking much. And then all of a sudden, he's like, he just goes ballistic on him, and I'm like, fuck.
The whispering
the
to
way
me
that-
is probably one of the best scenes I've seen this year. When
The
he talks
what?
about the whispering, when he talks about how lonely he is.
Oh yes,
Conquest.
yes.
That was because that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
It is.
And-
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I heard the voice, I was like, that's the guy from fucking Walking Dead.
Man,
That's Denny.
have you seen this, Jammer?
What?
Invincible.
I watched the first season. It's not for me.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't know. It was just so chilling to have that moment where he's just like choking Mark, and Mark is about to die, and Conquest is just telling him how lonely he is and how all the other Viltrumites are afraid of him and no one wants to be with him. And the only reason I am this way is because I've done everything that they've told me to do. And just like, and he's like, but you're going to take that secret to your grave. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
No, it was. That's what I
I
mean.
could
like,
watch the
after
whole
that-
episode
after-
again.
After that episode, bro, like I said, I was just mentally exhausted from all of the fucking like great shit that
I'm going
happened.
to watch it again.
And then all of a sudden, then they have that last scene where I'm confused, but I'm assuming that's like the next arc where like some demons are coming out talking about something, and it left me kind of like, that's where we're gonna go with the story, some demon type shit. So I trust the process. I know I get it. This is like just it's been great so far. I love the show.
I think you should read it.
I think this one is one of those where like I would rather watch. And the reason for that is because it gives me, and this is a little freaking, I guess, masochistic in a way. I like the feeling of feeling uncomfortable as I watch fucking people getting torn apart like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can see
It's
that.
a little weird, but it's like
I mean, it's
like,
normal. There's a reason why horror movies like exist.
Yeah.
but not in a way like horror movies are one thing, but for this, like the way people are getting torn apart in this is like
It's uncomfortable. Yeah, I get that.
It's
But
weird.
it's like also you
It's
kind of
like-
you can't look away.
And to
No.
your point about Oliver, like the way that Conquest is describing what's happening inside of his
Yeah.
body as she's like,
Exactly,
first
as
you're going
he's
to feel
doing
this,
it.
then you're
Oh
going to
my
feel this,
God,
then you're going to
dude.
feel this. I'm like, fuck, please stop.
and he's doing this to a child. Like that's the worst. That's the craziest part. I'm sitting here like watching child torture happening, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this is so uncomfortable. But
But
it's
so
I
good.
I can't unwatch. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like I think I'm gonna stick to the show
I was
and
looking
not
at
ruin whatever the fuck that has to happen because it's gonna be so much better animated. I guarantee it.
so I looked up the Adam and Eve scene, the death
Mhm.
scene that you mentioned.
Yeah.
One of the first comments is Glenn finally got his revenge on Negan.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a fantastic. I wonder if that was intentionally cast that way.
That way to be able to do that.
Yeah. That's good
All
stuff.
right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this episode. Thank you both for joining me today. Jonesy, where can people find you?
At the Quasi Scott on all the socials and playing Forza 4 5 on the PlayStation 5 now. Very excited.
Diego.
Nice. Add Will of Diego on Blue Sky only. Like I said, I have nothing else. And then I have gotten into the One Piece card game recently. So I go to my local game shop and play games there.
Fun.
It's a fun
Awesome.
game.
You can find me on most social media platforms at AJ Cerno Writer, and then you can follow us at Inkhouse Radio on what do we have again? Threads and Blue Sky. Is that right?
All the things. We have all the things.
We have
All
all
the
the
things.
We don't
All the
use any
things.
of them, but we have them all.
We have
Well,
them
we'll
all.
get around to it. We'll get around to it.
We'll get there.
But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next time.
Hasta lasagna.
Bye.